Hello, well done, and welcome to NME Albums Club with me, Jordan Bassett.
And me, Dan Stubbs.
It's going to be a very special Albums Club today, because it was, of course, the Mercury Awards last night.
It was the big celebration of the album.
Dan Stubbs was there.
I was.
He's going to tell us all about it.
Suffering slightly from it today.
Right, yeah. He's going to dish the goss, all the juicy goss.
I'm not sure I picked up much juicy goss, but I sat right behind Idris Elba. So
there you go. Gold, solid gold right there.
That was it. But speaking of gold, solid gold, or Link.
Yeah.
One of the first album is Concrete in Gold by the Foo Fighters, isn't it? But so we have that, we have another album set today, and then we have this Mercury special, where we're going to be talking about the winning album and assessing the shortlist as well. So the first one is the Foo Fighters. So, have you ever heard of this band, the Foo Fighters?
I think I've heard about them in passing, yes.
Yeah. So this is their latest album. They've described this one as the concept was Motorhead doing Sgt. Pepper. And
right, yeah.
What's that? Does that sound good to you in your head?
I mean, it sounds fantastic in my head. Yeah, it sounds fantastic. You wouldn't believe what's going on here, what's whirring away in here.
And occasionally it does sort of deliver on that, this album, but not really at the same time. So
okay, yeah.
I think like there's a couple of bits on it that are quite blatantly Beatlesy. They've sort of done that thing, you know, when people use that awful phrase, "Hey, Beach Boys harmonies," and it just means that some people are singing in harmony.
Right, yeah, yeah.
Like, this is just a lot of sort of Foo Fighters songs with people going, ah, in the background, which is sort of instant pepper, isn't it?
Well, it is instant pepper, but like that's quite sort of new for them, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So there's like some kind of really melodic stuff. It's so. If I may take you back to the start of this process.
Okay, can we go back in time?
Picture the scene. Dave Grohl, he's jumping around, gadding about on stage, isn't he? And he had a fall.
He did have a terrible fall,
as men of a certain age can do, and broke something. Broke his leg.
This was on stage in Copenhagen.
Yeah, and he rocked on, but then had to concede that.
That's actually amazing, that clip. Like when he falls and he's just like, oh. It just like does a bit of talking, doesn't it?
Yeah, right.
I'd be crying.
Yeah,
I wouldn't just cry. I'd wail.
I'd be nursing the shards of bone.
Yeah.
But anyway, he carried on, and then it was meant to be taking time off from the Foo Fighters was the plan. So they did that big Sonic Highways thing, which was quite a sort of high concept-y thing, where they went around different recording studios in America.
Right. Yeah.
They talked about doing a UK one, maybe visiting kind of iconic studios over here.
It wouldn't take as long, would it? Wouldn't be as epic. Really, would
and
it?
You could do it all on the train, probably, which would be nice. But then, so they came up with this idea of doing this one, because he always likes to have an idea, like a kind of mad idea, I think. This one, the idea was to record it live in front of 20,000 people at Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah,
which is
it was a
big venue over there.
Boring.
To me, that's a live album.
Right. Yeah.
But then he found out that PJ Harvey did this as an art installation at Somerset House, which is the PJ Harvey equivalent of doing that.
Yeah.
And he changed his mind because he thought, well, that's been done. So anyway, they did this one basically, but it was in the studio, sort of, you know. So the concept went there. But they got a big pop guy to come and produce it. So Greg Kurstin, who does Lily Allen, he's worked with Dell, Sia. So people were kind of, this is the thing this year, is like Queen's the Stone Age.
Yeah.
With old Mark Ronson.
Yes.
And so this with Greg Kurstin, and the effects are pretty good. Like, he's brought more of a pop sound. It's kind of, having been one of the... I saw Foo Fighters a few times this summer, and one of the sets I saw, I think, was 2.5 hours. So
that's quite a
I
commitment.
think that Greg's gone, edit this a little bit, because this is a nice, neat sort of 48-minute, 11-track album.
Yeah, it breezes along.
But when I say they don't really do that Motorhead, Sgt. Pepper thing, when they don't blend them too much, some of the songs are kind of soft and poppy, and some of them are kind of hard and rocky, like, you know, La-Di-Da and Run. And I don't know if they've reached that point on the Venn diagram where Motorhead and Sgt. Pepper.
No. There's a song on there, Happy Ever After, which is like quite sort of doo-woppy, and it's got this sort of like sleepy, noodly guitar lead in it.
I've written down here, it's got a Wacky Macca bit, you know, like when
Wacky Macca.
Yeah, like, you know, McCartney, when he just goes full Paul and he just does stuff like When I'm 64 or whatever.
Right, yeah.
Or like Martha, My Dear, or something like that. It's got a bit of the Wacky Macca about it.
Right, they've hit the Paul dial.
Macca is on this album.
Yes.
But drumming.
Yeah.
sort of pointless, isn't it? It's like saying, oh, he was in the room when we made it. Like,
he made a sandwich in the background.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Can you detect any Paul drumming in there?
Not really, but he has formed doing this kind of cameo. There's a Beach Boys song where he chomps celery.
Really? Yeah. That's great. That's a good bit of Paul trivia.
I wonder if he claims royalties.
Right, yeah. If he got paid in celery.
Yeah. And a lot of guests on there. So, have you read this guest list? It's got there's Alison Mosshart's on it. Justin Timberlake is on it. Hardly noticeable.
Hardly noticeable. Remember when people used to call Justin Timberlake Justin Trouser Snake?
Yeah.
It doesn't really happen anymore, does it?
I wonder if he liked that.
I don't know. I think bring it back.
Yeah. And a member of Boys II Men, apparently.
Yeah, that's a curveball.
It really is a curveball.
Yeah.
But apparently this all came from old Uncle Dave was at the studio kind of grilling food for everyone in the barbecue.
Right.
So all the people that were working there, he'd just be like, kind of, come and have a sing on this or whatever.
That's such a Grohl-esque anecdote, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a sort of nice thought, isn't it?
It is nice thought, yeah. Well, I guess, Boys Men, there's a lot of those vocal harmonies on here. It makes sense, right?
Yeah, exactly. And there's a member of, I can't remember, is it The Bird and the Bee, which Greg Kirsten was also...
Right, okay. So it's got a bit of it has that pop gloss on it as well, thanks to the producer.
Yeah. Do you like it?
I do like it. Yeah.
Do you really like it?
I like the ones I like the soft ones. Right, you know what I mean? I'm a sentimental.
Me too, I've got to say, I think the soft ones are the better songs on the album, yeah.
I agree, yeah. Like, some of them, it sort of goes back to sort of early Foo Fighters, and it's sort of, Big Me is still like my favourite Foo Fighters song by far.
And actually, totally, there's the echoes of that first album, aren't there? Yeah. It's making me think they should do some sort of acoustic album or something. Well, a Foo-stick.
Did you practice that?
No, I just thought of it.
Well, that's one for Dave.
They can have that one. Maybe it already exists, I don't know.
Well, like, because, Dave does like a concept, as you said, doesn't he? So, a Foo-stick Foos.
But, and there is a little bit, he kind of talks about this is influenced by the political climate.
Oh, really?
A little bit, but kind of undetectably, I would say. Again.
So he's actually said that?
Yeah, maybe on that Happy Hour After song, they said that there ain't no superheroes now, they're underground. I think it's not as overtly political as the next album we're going to talk about, which is as political as Donald Trump playing war games with North Korea.
I didn't think you were going to get to the end of that.
I started and I couldn't finish.
It was good. It was really nice to see the cogs turning.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Mercury effect. Yeah.
But before we move on to the next album, is Prophets of Rage with their self-titled album.
Oh, no,
Prophets of Rage.
We've got to.
But
right.
Don't worry, we're in control of this, guys.
I thought you were busting the format there, Jordan.
What are you going to give Foo Fighters out of 5?
We have to give it some things out of 5 things. So let's give it how many paving slabs out of 5 concrete paving slabs.
The album's called Concrete and Gold. You could have gone with 5. How many gold bullions?
How
many
out of gold 5? Bullion bars out of 5 gold bullion bars?
I saw it. I think that says a lot about you that you could have gone for gold bullions and you went for concrete paving slabs.
Yeah.
4 gold bullions.
4 gold bullions for me too.
Boom.
Consensus.
Next up, it's Prophets of Rage.
When you woke up 45 for the win. They didn't hear my cry. You said fuck my crisis. Didn't hear my cry. You said fuck my crisis. Didn't hear my.
Okay, so Prophets of Rage. It's Rage Against the Machine, but featuring Chuck D from Public Enemy and Be Real from Cypress Hill.
Yeah.
They kind of tried this. They did this before Rage. When they formed Audioslave with Chris Cornell from Soundgarden, and like the old school Rage fans weren't that happy about it initially at the time. I think people came around to it, but people didn't like the fact that it had gone from being these kind of politicized raps from Zach DeLay, Rocha, what are we saying there?
I've never known that.
Never known. Rocker, Mr. Rocker.
You should know that.
To sort of Chris Cornell's classic rock crooning. So, I mean, Cochise is still a banger though, isn't it? So, but if you didn't like Audioslave because you couldn't get on board with it not being politicized as you come to expect from Rage Against the Machine, you may have an easier time with the Prophets of Rage.
They're in for a treat.
Because it is hella political. Yeah. In fact, Tom Morello has taken to wearing a red cap that says "Make America Rage Again," which is good, isn't it?
Yeah. So you've got. I'm going to ignore Be Real from this slightly.
Why is that?
Well, because he's not, you know, Chuck D and Rage are like two of the greatest political acts in decades of American music.
Yeah.
And so this band is basically kind of like this righteousness cubed, isn't it? It's like
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
This bloody righteous, this band.
Yeah. Cypress Hill liked weed.
Yeah, right. So their first bit on the album is sort of about smoking, isn't it? But you know, like in their own way, they've stuck with that for a long time, and that's
fine.
their course. So.
That's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
So Be Real leads a track on here called "Legalize Me," which sounds a bit like he's saying legalize weed, and it is all about wanting to legalize weed.
If you swapped me for weed in the lyrics, it would make perfect sense, still. Yeah. But so this band, they formed last year, didn't they? It was kind of it's a weird kind of thing where it's a direct protest band. They formed to protest the Republican National Convention ahead of the election where Trump won, and they said this statement. They said, "We are an elite task force of revolutionary musicians determined to confront this mountain of election year bullshit." Which is like, that's a fair enough. No, that's righteous.
And then he said, "We want to confront it head on with Marshall stacks blazing."
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love that quote.
Then they didn't sort of stop Trump from getting in, so they carried on.
Even Tom Morello's chugging riffs couldn't stop Trump.
Yeah,
that's a shame.
And here is in this week's NME doing an incredibly righteous interview where he's sort of calling for action. So the whole point of the band is to kind of empower people to resist, isn't it?
Yeah, and I love how kind of unabashed that is. You know, we went through a bit of a phase where people were sort of embarrassed to talk about politics in music. Went through a bit of an apolitical period, and I love how unabashed and unsubtle and unashamedly righteous this album is. I think it's quite exciting. It's quite old-fashioned in that respect, isn't it?
It sort of hit you over the head with it quite a lot.
It does hit you over the head with it. Yeah, I mean, if you want to know what this album sounds like, it literally sounds like Rage Against the Machine, but with Chuck D on vocals instead.
Which then gives you that sort of rap rock thing. So a lot of people have been saying it's quite a sort of early 2000s rap rock type sound. Yeah. Which it is, but that's kind of come around a bit again recently. You know, people are into that.
That's true. Asteroid Boys, my favourites.
It's fair to say it has divided the critics, so it's had a bit of kicking from some.
I was surprised because I reviewed it for the mag, loved it, and then it has had a bit of a drubbing, hasn't it, from certain corners of the internet. But I really like it. I like that it exists. I like that Rage Against the Machine have come back in a new form because they felt the call. They felt like it was something that they needed to do. Someone to put out the bat signal, and Tom Morello came a running. I think it's good. Are you into it in general?
I like it. Yeah. I mean, it's I can't. It's definitely a good listen. It definitely feels quite old-fashioned in a weird way. But yeah, I mean, it's like you can't knock the feeling behind it. And also, who doesn't like Chuck D rapping over Tom Morello's guitar licks? I mean, what's not to like, really? Chuck D's rapping is such a good kind of tone to it and such good passion and anger.
Yeah. I don't know. I do think that Saktila Rocha, whatever.
I can't believe you went there again after that.
I think that his voice suited Tom Morello's kind of crushing riffs better because it was more of a contrast. So you got these really heavy, deep, bruising riffs, and then this kind of nasally voice that kind of cut through it.
Get over it, Jordan. He's gone.
Chuck D's voice it hits exactly the same tone as a guitar, which I think is where it feels like you are being beaten over the head.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I like how unsubtle it is. There's a song on this album called "Unfuck the World," which goes no hatred, fuck racists, which I think is a sentiment we can all get behind.
Yeah, and the song "Living on the 110" it's very good. That's not a bus, I believe. It's a freeway, isn't it?
Talking about the commute.
Yeah. So yeah, there we are. How many? What's a good thing to score this out of?
Fists.
Angry red-faced emojis.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
How many angry red-faced emojis out of 5?
It's 4 for me.
Okay, I'm going to give it 3.
Really?
Well, actually, no. It's not a kind of an average,
you can't. Yeah, you can't.
I'll give it 4.
Boom.
So, now, it's on to our Mercury Prize special. Spoiler alert, Sampha one. Let's have a look at the cover and hear a snippet of Sampha.
No one knows me like the piano in my mother's home.
So yeah, Sampha won. There was plenty of great stuff nominated this year, many of which we covered in Albums Club. Of course, Laura Carney, Yesterday's Gone, I See You by the XX. And of course, the eventual winner, Process by Sampha. A worthy winner, Dan?
I mean, like, worthy is probably the word, because it's like, it's very sort of, it's a very serious album, it's got a very serious subject matter, it's about personal loss, and his performance was, you know, that kind of Adele at the Brits type thing, so it was just him and the piano. It was actually really weird, because he came on and then he sang one line, and where I was sat, like a lot of people after he sang the first line got up and gave him a standing ovation, exactly like the X Factor.
Oh, that's weird.
Like, because if like, oh, I wonder if he's got a good voice or not.
Right.
Wow.
Okay, yeah.
It was really weird. I've never seen that happen before.
That is
It's
strange.
like the X Factor seeping into real life.
Oh,
so
God,
like,
how
you know,
frightening.
fuck you, Cowell. But like, that didn't happen at all in any other performance.
How weird. So this was No One Knows Me Like the Piano.
Yeah.
Which is about playing the piano in his mum's house. And I think that's probably a highlight from the album.
Yeah,
isn't
it's a really beautiful song actually, and it's it was a great performance. It was really jaw-dropping performance.
Was it jaw-dropping after one line, or would you have held off for like?
My jaw dropped. I would say actually, it just didn't drop. It was just a turn of phrase. But it was good. But I don't know. It felt like, you know, the Mercury's weird, isn't it? Because it's like, you know, there's just so many kind of weird machinations going on in that judges' room. So it's like, probably Stormzy could have got it, but you just know they would have gone, well, we gave it to Skepta last year, so we won't give it to another grime album. There's always they kind of try and change it up every year. Kate Tempest was a hot favourite.
That would have been good.
And her performance was amazing, although it apparently has nothing to do with the performances. They're a complete red herring.
Right, okay.
On the TV broadcast. But
the Sampha album sounds like an album that was sort of made in a test tube for the Mercury, doesn't it? It couldn't sound more Mercury.
Yeah. But then, you know, it's probably an album that, like, he's worked with some really big people, like Drake and Kanye West, but actually the album itself has probably not reached anywhere near as wide an audience. So this kind of thing is good for shining a light on all the albums that were nominated.
That's
including
true.
some that were, you know, like The Big Moon was nominated, which is, you know, they were like a fun indie band and probably haven't had a lot of exposure. So I think it was, you know, it's good for them. There was the jazz one, Dinosaur.
Oh right, yeah, didn't hear that one.
Right. Blossoms. Yeah, there's quite an indie contingent this year. Glass Animals are there as well. And then, you know, a lot of UK hip hop. So you mentioned Lord Carno's, J-Hus as well. And both of them kind of would have been worthy winners, I think. So I think Laurel Carno could have been a, you know.
Laurel Carno would have been my winner if it was just me sat in that judge's room.
Right.
She should
just
be.
On your own.
Next year, just weighing it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Take him on.
Yeah, come on. Laura Carno for me, you know, interesting in that it's another guy from South London. It's another album that deals with grief and personal loss. But like for me, although you know I really like the Sampha album, for me the Laura Carno album does it in a kind of more accessible, kind of vibey, upbeat kind of way. It's like it's a much breezier listen, and there's like catchy songs on there. Maybe catchy songs are not what they're looking for on the Mercury Judges panel.
Yeah, but definitely should be heard by more people. But then, and also on the list was like Ed Sheeran, couldn't be asked to turn up.
Really?
Yeah. The XX already won one.
Yeah, they need another one.
They wouldn't. I'm sure they wouldn't give him another one. So they must just turn up thinking we're not going to get this. But yeah, they were there anyway.
Nice,
like Ed.
Nice dinner.
Nice dinner. Yeah.
Ed Sheeran's he's got his own nice dinners, hasn't he?
So there we are. That was that. I don't have any. You asked for gossip, didn't you? So,
yeah. Just Juicy got overheard at the Mercury's.
Not really. No. I saw Marcus Mumford.
Oh, did you?
He let me through a door first, so he's.
Did he actually? God, he has still got his feet on the ground, hasn't he? Still got his feet on the ground.
Saw the Alt J's.
Did you? What were they doing?
Just leaving a club.
Did they push in front of someone to get through a door?
They didn't.
No. It's a shame.
Everyone's very nice these days, aren't they? So
yeah.
There's no bad behaviour that I witnessed, which is a shame.
Okay.
But yeah, there we are. And we were looking through the list of previous winners, and we selected, didn't we? You should try this yourselves at home. It's fun. With our favourite Mercury winner of all time. So you landed upon
Dead by Young Fathers.
Right, yeah, which is recent. So that was pretty
fairly recent. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I like that it's like weird experimental Scottish hip hop. I like that they evaded the curse of the Mercury.
Right,
which people don't really talk about that much anymore, but that was like a thing for a while. But they evaded the curse of Mercury. They didn't sort of disappear back into obscurity. They went on to make an absolutely amazing album, White Men and Black Men Too, which I think is even better than Dead, which is brilliant in its own right. Yeah, so I like that they went on to do that. And we interviewed Festival Republic boss Melvin Benn last year and asked him to pick out his future headliners for Reading and Leeds. He said Young Fathers.
Did he?
Yeah, it's a curveball.
I picture that. But, yeah. I'm going to say, I'm going to take it further back in time and say Pulp, Different Class.
Okay, yeah, that's a pretty good one.
It's a pretty good one, that, isn't it? Yeah. But I feel like they wouldn't give it to a big pop album like that anymore. But
do you not think?
No, but I think that Curse of the Mercury thing, they've learned from that. Speech to Bell was probably the last one that really kind of it won and just made absolutely no impact whatsoever, and everyone was kind of like, you are being willfully obscured by picking this album. So I think they do try and avoid that. Just hope the Curse of the Mercury hasn't passed on to us.
Ooh.
Or you. So that's probably it, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we'll leave you with those chilling words of warning. That might be the icy hand of the Mercury curse on your shoulder there.
It's like the ring, this. We're just going to crawl out of your phone, tablet or computer screen quite imminently.
Yeah, if we haven't frightened you off, please do join us next week for another very special NME Albums Club. Goodbye.